Hey guys, what's going on? Jamie here. Wanted to do a late night, not really too late, but it's kind of late. But just doing a quick update for Drip and then talk a little bit about the Manor Farm, more specifically the Drip Garden. A lot of you guys have been asking some questions about that. And yeah, we'll go into some of the FAQs, give you my thoughts, all that stuff. So that being said, do want to remind you that everything I talk about on my channel is for entertainment purposes only. Should never take anything I say as financial advice. You should do research, do your own due diligence. If you're okay with the risk, and only if you're okay with risk, then and only then should you put in what you can afford to lose, guys. Okay, risk capital. Guys, I want to emphasize, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. You should not be coming to me for financial advice. You know, people message me all the time, hey, shouldn't you be telling us when to get out of this platform or when to get in on this platform or when to buy this coin or when to sell that coin? No, that's not what I do. I don't give you any type of suggestions like that. I just do what I do, document it. If you make some gains with some of the things I do, or you're entertained by some of the things I do, then great. But you should do your own research and do what you need to do with your own funds. Okay. So I'm never going to tell you when to buy in on something, when to sell something, because if I do that and it's the wrong move, you're going to come back to me and say, you told me to do this and you told me to do that, and I lost money. So no, everything that I do on my channel, you see I put in deposits first. If you're losing money in something and you learned about it on my channel, chances are I'm losing money on it too. So yeah, again, just want to emphasize, guys, 'cause I've been getting a lot of questions lately on different things of that nature. So again, do your own research, guys, do your own due diligence. So that being said, guys, you can see here the price of Drip, $67 plus right now. I think it hit 68 or $69 just a little while ago. And yeah, this thing has been going pretty crazy. I think people anticipating the launch of the farm, the Manor Farm, or the Liberation. People are just buying into Drip, and there's just so much. There's it's being covered by a lot of different people over on social media, over on Telegram, over on YouTube. People who are just learning about it are coming on board. Yeah, and with the influx of new people, people are buying Drip to get into the faucet. So price is going great, and I think at least on paper, when people deposit BUSD into the Liberation, and half of that BUSD goes into buying Drip to create the LP token, because you need the LP token to get into the garden. I believe that's going to have a positive impact on the price as well. Now, again, this is crypto, so I can't guarantee you anything, but on paper, that's what it should, that's what should happen. So we'll see what happens here. This thing has just been going bananas. Right now in this account, there's 1.6 million deposited here. The account that I'm focused on building right now, so almost 900,000. That's insane, right? Between 1.6 million and almost 900,000. What is that? I'm not really good at math. What is that? 2.5 million. That 1% a day of that is 25,000 a day. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting a little uncomfortable making these videos, to be honest with you. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. All right, guys. So let's talk about the Drip Garden. Now, again, this is totally separate from the faucet. You don't have to be in one to get into the other. But for me, if you've been on my channel for any period of time, you know that I like to have multiple streams of income. So in addition to, right, to supplement the faucet, this Drip Garden is going to be pretty awesome. Now, again, this is separate also from the farms and the pools, just so you know. Okay, the farms and the pools aren't going to launch until the 4th of January. So there's going to be a 2-week lag time, right? And I think they're doing that. Not I think, I know they're doing that so that there's, people can focus on the Liberation in the garden. And then 2 weeks later, we can focus on the launch of the farm. To launch everything at the same time would just be way too confusing, especially for, people that are just getting onboarded, new people. So they wanted to kind of stagger the launch there. So, and again, very much like the faucet, you don't have to get into, the farms or the pools to get into the liberation in the garden and vice versa, right? If you want to just participate in the drip garden, you can do that. If you want to just participate in the farms and pools, you can do that, or you can do both. Totally up to you, right? If you're familiar with farming, that this is not going to be anything foreign. Um, this is something you've probably seen before. You create an LP token, you get into these farms. Again, if you haven't farmed before, if you're not really good at it, or if you don't know what you're doing, maybe getting into the liberation and the garden might be the play. I don't know. Or, going into the safe house right here. Because obviously with LP tokens and things of that nature, you're going to, experience potentially impermanent loss. You don't know what that is. Um, you know, go research it. Because, you probably, you might experience some of it. So anyway, let's talk about the liberation. Now, this right here, to get into the garden, you're going to need to create an LP token, right? Because the garden takes drip BUSD LP tokens. Now, this is the easiest and most convenient way to do it. Of course, you can go over on PancakeSwap and do it over there. It's going to take more steps. Might be a little bit confusing for you guys who haven't farmed before. Plus, you're going to incur, some fees. Doing it here would be the easiest, most cost-effective way to do it. And all you do here is you simply deposit BUSD. So again, this thing is going to launch on Thursday. Might be a good idea to get ready for this. If you're going to get involved and, move over some BUSD over to your wallet if you have to. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move over some BUSD over into this wallet. And then when this thing launches, you can go ahead and simply deposit BUSD. Half of the BUSD that you deposit is going to go towards buying drip. Because again, if you're familiar with LP tokens, it's 50% BUSD, 50% drip. It's going to create an LP token. And then once you deposit here, your LP tokens are going to be, available. And then you can head on over to the drip garden, right? And simply take your LP tokens and stake it over here. Okay. Again, none of this is live just yet, but if this was live, you would go ahead and just go here, whatever amount of LP tokens you have or you want to put in, you would put it in right here. And then you would probably click this button right here that's not, able to be clicked right now. And then you're off to the races, right? You're going to start receiving passive income from the garden, right? Formerly, the drip miner, for familiar with miners. Again, this is not going to be foreign to you as well. Here, you can just read about this stuff. You can go here. I'll leave a link to this down below. Here, you can go through the contract, right? Cool thing about this is the contract is verified, open source, immutable, trustless, and it's also transparent. It can be seen on BSC scan. Now, what does that mean, guys? It means that once the contract was deployed, the dev is no longer needed for the contract to continue operating as intended. In the case of Drip BUSD Garden, the website isn't even needed. Okay, everything is done via the contract. If something were to happen to the UI, this website, and you have access to the contract, you can still, you can still interact with that contract. And everyone has access to read, audit, and interact directly with the code and make their own decisions as they see fit. So again, there's no third party. There's no human being that has to click a button for you to receive your money. If you want to withdraw, you just interact with the contract. Again, it's immutable. And that's what's awesome about this, right? It's completely decentralized. Once the contract was deployed, it can't be stopped nor changed by anyone for any reason. Not even the developer himself has access to change or take anything from the contract. Drip BUSD Garden is a decentralized tool that gives its users totally free access to its inner and outer workings, so that they may make a well-informed decision of its usefulness to their intention. Let me see here. All other work performed by the Drip BUSD Garden community and our developers is purely optional, not necessary for continued operation, and should be viewed as nothing more than charitable community contributions. Here it talks a little bit about strategies and information. Of course, you're going to put together your own strategy. Everyone has a different strategy because everyone has a different risk tolerance. Everyone has a different objective of what they're trying to do. So again, put together your own strategy. But again, it is going to benefit you to compound more than you withdraw, right? Again, very typical of these miners. Not that this is the typical miner, right? Because again, I think they went out of their way to say that it's not their typical miner, but very similar to other miners, you're going to get rewarded for compounding as opposed to withdrawing, all the time. So it says here, Drip BUSD Garden is for users who want long-term profits and sustainability. It is fundamentally different from all other blockchain games who favor insiders. Drip Garden is a true game where all players start out relatively equal, and what determines your payment is how often you plant your seeds, aka compound, versus how often you sell them, aka withdraw. I just actually said that already. When a player first deposits, they are buying plants for their garden, very similar to like buying miners. When you're in another miner, you deposit, you buy miners. Those miners enable you to collect dividends, right? These plants can't be sold. So again, you can't stake and unstake like in a DAO, for example. Once you buy miners and you deposit, it's there, it's locked. You're not gonna be able to get it out. Okay, the way you profit is by getting dividends, right? And then once you hit that 100% point where you break even, everything above and beyond that is going to be pure profit. All right, so let's see here. Of course, you can compound. Drip BUSD Garden algorithm ensures that all participants receive their fair share due to our implementation of the balance and time multiplier. So this right here is what makes this different than your typical miner, right? They added the algorithm, this balance and time multiplier, as well as a balancing of buying power for initial capital entering the contract. So, in other words, where other miners you get, a benefit for coming in first or getting in the second that thing launches. Here they're saying that although it obviously makes sense to get in early rather than late, you don't have to be coming in the first second, right? Which is good. Pleasure. Keep in mind that the 3% daily rate is not completely constant, right? Again, very typical of other miners. So it's going to start off at 3% daily, but it's probably going to come down a little bit, especially if the TVL, right, in the garden, for lack of a better term, once kind of plateaus out, it's going to start, the percentage daily is going to start to come down a little bit, which is good because that's how you have a sustainable platform. When you look at other miners right now, for the most part, a lot of these miners are still paying out. I'm still collecting from the miners I'm in. Of course, the payouts have come down quite a bit, but in fact, it still remains that I can still withdraw, like BNB miner, BUSD farm. I'm still withdrawing from all those things, and they've been running for a long time. So again, keep in mind that the 3% daily rate is not completely constant. It will vary slightly based on a combination of factors, including how often you plant your seeds versus selling them, and the habits of the community as a whole. So again, if the community as a whole is compounding, right, that's going to be beneficial for everybody, right? As opposed to if the entire community is withdrawing every day or often, then of course, it's not going to be as beneficial, right? So your personal habits hold much more weight in regards to your overall personal returns. Just as your daily rate can decrease, it also increases based on a combination of those same habits. And again, I already talked about how to get started with the garden, the Drip BUSD garden, right? Again, you need to buy plants using the Drip BUSD LP tokens. How do you get these LP tokens? Drip Liberation, okay, which I just showed you earlier in this video. Last thing right here is fees. The only fee that users personally incurs are transaction gas fees. There is a 5% dev fee, which is paid to the developer, but this fee is not paid by you as a user. This fee is paid to the developer by the contract as a whole. So again, very typical of other miners. There's nothing different. It's not a big deal. So again, review this, right now, as we get ready for this launch, it's Tuesday night. It's going to launch on Thursday. There's not an exact time, but there's time to review this. There's also time to prepare getting your BUSD in your wallet. Here's some FAQs. A lot of these FAQs I already covered, but let me see here if there's one that I didn't cover. Can I take my initial drip LP back? I already covered that. You can't, like, quote unquote unstake, but you do get it back over time, because again, if you're getting, if this thing is paying out, right, and you've hit that 100%, you broken even, everything above and beyond that is profit. But once you hit that broken even part, you've essentially gotten your tokens back, right? Your LP tokens back. How much are the fees? Covered that. When is the best time to start a garden? Always, no matter when you start your garden, you will begin with uneven ground with other players due to our implementation of the balance and time multiplier, as well as balancing of buying power for initial capital entering the contract. Okay. So again, you don't have to get in at the very, very second it launches. However, obviously, as in anything in crypto, get in early, right? How often should I compound? Many recommend that you compound at least once per day, but you're free to do so as you wish. Again, that's personal choice. Do what you need to do. How is the garden sustainable? So here's the difference, right? They do they compare themselves to other miners out there. The Drip Garden is not a clone of other miner themed games, which are popular in the space right now. Unlike its predecessors, Drip BUSD LP Garden is part of a larger ecosystem, which will work to promote and grow the game. The Drip BUSD LP Garden pays 3% daily, the same as other popular miners in the space, some of which have been around for almost a year. Yeah, like BNB miners coming in on a year. And it's still paying out. It's still paying out quite nicely. But we have fundamentally changed and rebalanced the buying power of capital entering the system to ensure everyone who enters gets a fair rate, no matter when they enter. We have also introduced an innovative balance and time multiplier, which will continue to make the game attractive for new capital far after launch, right? By the way, this Drip BUSD LP token, it's gonna, because Drip is now paired with a stable token, BUSD, it's gonna decrease the volatility of the coin, right, of the token. So imagine, right? Imagine, Drip is at $50 or $60 or something like that. Who knows what it's gonna be, right? But imagine it's somewhat stable where, it's not as volatile and it doesn't go from 50 to 25, right? Or 20, right? It stays around 50, 45, and it kind of can maintain some type of constant, even though nothing's constant in crypto, but the price can stay somewhat constant. Imagine what would that be, right? Imagine that would be pretty awesome, right? Here's just some other basic questions. Can you use it on your phone? Is it better to plant seeds or sell them? Again, totally personal choice. It's your option to do that. However, as I mentioned before, you do get rewarded for compounding. And this is their referrals. All right, so when will it go live? So it's going to go live on Thursday. Again, no set time. People that have been asking me, what time does it, is it set? What time is it going to launch? I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what time it's going to launch. All I know it's going to launch sometime on Thursday. So again, just stay plugged in to our Telegram. Obviously, I'm going to let you know on our Telegram. And then obviously, if you're in the community Telegram, you'll know as well. That's pretty much it. Again, this right here, nice little chart here. Drip Garden increases buying power as contract balance grows and time passes, allowing all players to get a fair rate. So this is see, this red arrow here is supposed to be the typical miner in the space right now. This green arrow is the Drip Garden. All right. All right, guys. So, I mean, yeah, it looks very, very, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be, anything that, Forex has built has always done well, partly because, he's a really intelligent and innovative dev, but also because there's a community. I've mentioned before in the past, anytime you have anything that has a community already built, chances are it's going to do well. It's not a guarantee that it's going to do well, but chances are it's going to do well. So, yeah, I've got into so many different miners. I think I'm currently in like 20 different miners still. Um, so obviously it makes sense for me to jump into this one because this is going to support, drip and the faucet. Um, so yeah, this is going to be a very, very, going to be a big launch. I know there's a lot of people anticipating this. We've been anticipating it for a while. Um, but yeah, I think this is gonna go really, really well. Other than that, guys, again, review the white paper on your own. Check it out. Again, nothing is, completely risk-free in crypto, guys. So do your own research. Only put in what you can afford to lose. Um, and yeah, follow me on Telegram. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm super excited about this. So far, with the market, the market kind of going down, and a lot of these coins, have been dropping in price, which is temporary, right? I mean, I never freak out when people, when the market is tanking or when the market is down, because I'm in it for the long haul anyway, right? So I don't really, get freaked out. People have been sending me messages saying, oh, Crow is down and Sandbox is down and this is down and that is down. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go up. I don't control that. I don't worry about that. I'm not a day trader. I'm not looking to arbitrage things, day to day. I'm in it for the long haul. So I'm hodling all, everything that I got. But while the market is tanking, drip has been doing really, really well. So that's pretty awesome. So, all right, guys, hopefully you're in drip. If not, I'll leave my buddy address down below. Again, go to my Telegram, check out the post I posted earlier concerning airdrop. So there's no confusion. You know what a net positive account is. You know that you have to have deposited the amount of drip, set for the airdrop. You can't compound your way there. For example, if I do an airdrop for people that have 100 drip, let's say, and you deposited 50 drip, and then you compounded your way over time, and now you have 100 drip in your deposit. Well, that's a good thing because you're growing your account. The contract, when we do an airdrop, it's not going to pick up your address because compounding doesn't count. It only counts what you deposited. And if you had that much deposited set for the airdrop, right? So again, that doesn't make sense. Go to my post over on my Telegram. You'll probably understand because I give an example. But that's pretty much it, guys. All right. Hope you guys are set to have a great night. I will catch you tomorrow on another video. Peace.